Welcome to an introduction to Python. My name is Matthew Hillsberg, and I'm working with the Department of Mathematics and the Institute of Data Science. In this series, I've attempted to make no assumptions about any prior experience with Python or programming in general, and have attempted to keep the notes as simple and as to the point as possible. So each of the notebooks should be fairly concise and limited to a single theme or topic. The videos that accompany those notebooks will also be kept short and relatively independent of one another, at least to the extent possible. Additionally, in each notebook, I've attempted to give you links to useful references and documentation to help you get more information about the topics that are covered. So, what is Python? Python is an interpreted language whose name actually comes from the BBC show Monty Python's Flying Circus. In fact, you'll find references and quotes from that show in the documentation and in many examples. Now, because Python is interpreted, this means that you don't have to compile or link code in order to actually execute it. Instead, you can interactively input lines of code, write in the interpreter, and get immediate results. In addition to interactive sessions like this, Python also supports code reuse through modules and scripting. And we're actually going to talk a bit about those topics in later videos. Now, Python is quite often already installed on most systems. However, to get the latest version, you can always visit python.org. And this site will actually have links for you to download the latest Python for your system, as well as a ton of other information, including documentation, tutorials, videos, and even books on Python. However, once you have a copy of Python installed, it does come with the Python standard library, which provides a large amount of functionality right out of the box, including things like compression and cryptographic services, networking, graphics, and a ton more. In addition to that, however, there is a very large community that supports the language and also provides a ton of additional functionality, which is more often than not free for you to use. And we're going to talk about a few of those community provided packages as we go through this series. Now, to wrap up this video, I'd like to point out that there are a few links towards the bottom of the notebook. The first is, of course, the python.org website, which we saw. The second is an introductory tutorial, which is maintained by the Python developers and is one of the main references that I use for this series. So if you find that my explanation of any topic is lacking, or if you just want to see more examples, this would be a good link for you to check out, because there's a good chance that there's a section in the tutorial that also covers the same topic that I'm covering in these notes. Now, the next two links here are actually for the language reference and the full grammar specification. Now, these may not be immediately useful, but as you go through the series, you may find yourself looking at some of these to get a better understanding of how the language works and what you can actually do with it. The next link is for the Python standard library, and this gives you a comprehensive list and description of all the elements in the standard library. Following that is the Python package index. This is basically a search engine which allows you to search for all the packages that the community has provided for others to use. There's actually a large number of these, so there's a good chance that if you need some functionality, someone else may have already written it and submitted it to the package index for the community to use.